10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this February 25th, 2019 evening. And Chris, we are 1 week out, or less than, I should say, 1 week out from the Arnold Classic 2019. You are about to go to the airport and head over there, because we know you like to get in there early. And I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good one because I don't think there's any absolute definitive winner out there. You know, I think it's going to be a battle. And I think that whenever there's a battle, I think it always turns out to be an exciting show.
Yeah, no, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
You know, usually
right?
we go in there and there's one or two guys that are going to be battling it out for the win. And, you know, I think that there's a lot of chances for someone that we don't suspect to necessarily get in there and win it. And when you have guys like Cedric in the lineup, who you never know what you're going to get from him, it's kind of a crapshoot. I just hope it's not one of those years that we show up and everyone's off, you know, and then we're trying to figure out who's the best of the worst, you know?
Yeah. No, there's a lot. I mean, there are always, right? But there's a lot of different looking physiques in the show. You got Cedric, you got, Roelly, the Mass Monster, you got Bonac, thick as a brick.
Brendale, who you're working with, who looks great.
Raphael looks, really technically not many flaws and got great shape.
Brandon Curry,
I forgot about.
Victor Martinez is looking great too.
Victor Martinez.
Luke, who you're helping as well. Akeem Williams, you never know what you're going to get with.
He's another crapshoot.
Yeah.
Akeem and is a crapshoot.
And
right?
Josh Lonardo too. I mean, so.
Well, I'd say Josh is the most dangerous person in the lineup. I'll go out on a limb and say he's the favorite.
Well, he told me he's 280, and he said he's leaner than he was last year. So that's a scary thought, you know.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, there I called it. How's that? End of the show.
Right. Well, I
didn't know he's 280. I know that he's.
He's big. We're going to break down this whole show in a little bit. So I just want to just segue for a minute because Chris sent me a picture the other day. I have to tell the story, and it's a picture. And I said, "Is that a picture of a car wash?" And then I realized it wasn't a picture; it was a video. Right? And I turned it and I clicked the video on, and I see Chris moving very rapidly through the car wash.
Well. What happened is I went to the car wash and I'm busy. Of course, I have to text, take phone calls, and check my email from not my BlackBerry but my iPhone.
Right, which is fine when you're in the car wash because the car wash kind of does its thing on its own. It doesn't really need your help, right? Yeah.
So I'm taking Luke's text message, Raphael Brendale's text message. I've got to go pick up my kids. I got to go to the bank, the post office. A million things on my mind. And I signed up for this car wash where you pay a flat rate and you can wash your car as many times as you want.
Do you actually take advantage of that? I'm afraid that if I do it, I'll never go.
Well, that's why I put it. You know what? I delayed it for like 3 years. So finally, I signed up for it. And whenever the weather's decent, I run to the car wash. Mm-hmm. So I get in the line.
I forget in the north you have to wash your car a lot more often because it snows.
Of course you do. It's filthy.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, these cheap bastards they're just flying me through this car wash this time. And then I realize I'm catching up to the car in front of me. And so I don't crash into it, Dave. I slam on the brakes.
In the car wash.
In the car wash. Slam on the brakes and the whole entire car wash, like alarms go off and people come to me. They're yelling at me and I'm screaming at them from inside the car because I don't want to get wet. You dummies! You cheap bastards! You flying me through this car wash. And then I finally rolled down the window. They put me back on the track and the guy comes screaming at me. He tells me, you dummy, put the car in neutral next time. So I forgot to put it in neutral. So all the cars are in neutral in this big line, and I'm catching up with the guy. I'm like, I'm going to crash into I'm going to have a car accident.
Yeah.
How do you tell the insurance State Farm that? Where's your accident? Inside the car wash.
Now, when you come back home and you analyze what went on, do you start saying, "Oh my God, I'm becoming my dad"?
No, Dave. Here's a better story. I can one up it. One day, I was pumping gas at 7-Eleven. Mm-hmm. This is a 100% true story.
You know, I love hearing these stories because it makes me feel like I'm not so bad, you know.
And of course, I got the iPhone, I'm texting, emailing, apartment calls, the lady's got a leaky faucet, someone's glutes are soft, you know, someone's cramping up 3 days before a show. And I drive off from 7-Eleven with the pump goes flying. I never took the...
You never took the pump out of the gas thing?
So I blew it right off the machine.
What happened? Did you have to buy it? You pay the damages? What did you do?
I pulled it out. I pulled it off, and I ran into the 7-Eleven because I was in a rush, and I said, "Whatever this costs, I'll take care of it." And the guy took my phone number, and he never called me back unless I gave him the wrong number because I can't remember. Maybe I gave him I probably gave my number from when I was like the 5th grade or something. My old number used to be 7726730.
Oh my God, you're too funny.
Oh boy!
Wow.
So because this is my life, Dave. It is now 12:15. I have to go to the airport for a 6:00 flight. I have to be there at 5. It takes me an hour to get there, and it's raining out and hailing, so it's going to be a frozen trip there. So I probably should leave here at 3 rather than 4.
Right. Well, right after the show's over, you'll just get in the car and go.
Yeah. And
you'll sleep on the plane.
Yeah. And I'm trying to make last minute vacation trip in April for me and the spoiled kids.
Right. Well, that's to pay the price of you going away for a week.
Well, Well, I just came from England, so.
Oh, that's right. The England one was 2 weeks. Yeah, I forgot about that. You're funny. I can't even outdo those stories. All I can tell you about is you tell me about the icy sleet. I can just tell you about the fact that it's 85 degrees here, and I'm like looking outside. We're watching the pool get built. You know, that's
well, I follow you on your Instagram stories. I watched the kids get sick.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, speaking of kids, Troy Alves had a boy.
Oh, another one?
Troy Alves.
Is this the one that we talked about? He didn't have 2 new ones, did he?
No, he had a new. This is his.
Oh, this is the one that was he. Yeah,
this is the one that was in the cooker for a while.
Right. Congratulations to him. So let's give a big shout out to Troy Alves, new dad. How old is he?
He is 53 or 2.
Oh, so he has us both beat. Oh no, well he might not have you beat.
No, but he's got like a 22-year-old as well.
Yeah, well he has us beaten. That's it. But I'm saying as old as the oldest dad, bodybuilder dad. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he did the Dave Palumbo fertility.
Oh, he's tried to have the baby. Oh, wow. How old's his wife? Like 18?
I think it's like 14. No, his wife is like, she's got to be around
28.
She's 28 or 32, somewhere like that.
Guaranteed she's in her 20s. That's great. Good for you, Troy. Your grandkids can babysit for your kid.
Yeah. Well, I said that's the bad part, Troy. I said you'll be like me, and you'll. The problem with having children when you're 52, I told him, is that puts you when your son is 20, you'll be 72.
Yeah,
so
I've been trying to figure that out too for my
grandkids.
Yeah.
Grandkids.
Well, I'll probably be dead before I have a grandkid, but I'm trying to figure out like when my kid's in college, like how old will I be? Like when they finally leave the house.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that I don't leave the house to go to the old age home before they leave the house to go to college. Yeah. I'm afraid that my wife is gonna put me in the assisted living where my dad was before the kids.
I think I'll actually. You know what? I will. I always say this. I have this note. It is still on my desk, and I'm going to post it on Instagram. It says, "Practice working on your memory."
You tell me that all the time. I think you forgot. You tell me that all the time because you're not practicing working on your memory enough.
Well, you know, it's like a Seinfeld
Yeah.
show because it says practice working on your memory, and then there's all kinds of sticky notes around it, things that remind me to do because I know I'm going to forget.
Yeah. I'm like that too. Thank God for the iPhone notepad. Right? If I didn't use that, forget about it.
To totally destroy your memory because you get so lazy, you'll say, well, I'll just look it up on the...
Right.
I got the system down. I can just look at
the problem is if you lose, you know what the great thing about the iPhone now is that you back it up to the iCloud. So if you lose the phone, it doesn't matter really. I mean, it's you can download it from the iTunes or the iCloud and onto a new phone. So in essence, that was a smart thing. Now, you know, speaking of getting people pregnant and fertility, you know, a new study came out. One of my clients sent me a link to a study that appeared in the Journal of, I don't even know what journal this is. Endocrine. I want to give you the right, because these people like to look this stuff up. I don't know where it appeared. It's called Anabolic Steroid-Induced Hypogonadism Treated with HCG, or Human Chorionic Gonadotropin. And in the Postgrad Med Journal, that's where it appeared. January, this is an old article. They showed that treating with HCG long-term can permanently turn back the body's, can turn on the pituitary hypothalamic.
Well, Bob Gruskin would say the body's very forgiving, except the kidneys.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what the truth?
But
he's right though, because the kidneys don't really regenerate too well. But the truth is that a lot of people think that they have to go on hormone replacement for the rest of their life after doing steroids, and I thought the same thing because I went on hormone replacement for 10 years after I stopped taking anabolics. And then I went off it, as you know, to get my wife pregnant. And then I haven't taken any since then for over 4 years. And I produce normally. And obviously, I just got her pregnant. So, but I used prolonged HCG treatments and Clomid because when I did fertility for the first 2 babies. So, or for 3 actually, because we had the 1 miscarriage. So theoretically, I validated this study. And I believe it to be true now because I didn't think I'd ever turn myself back on permanently, and I feel good. It's I'm not like some people they're producing testosterone, but they feel bad. They feel like low.
Yeah.
You don't feel low, do you?
No, I wonder what mine is. Mine's probably low, and I just convinced myself that it's high.
Yeah, I don't think so. 'Cause you're not tired all the time.
No.
And you don't even sleep, and you're not tired all the time.
No,
but that's because you're Italian. My father would say it's the Italian. The Italians have.
I don't sleep, Dave. I have this new. It's been going on for 10 years, but it's intensifying. Mm-hmm. This horrible thought of wasting time.
Yeah, me too.
Because I do this. There's 24 hours in a day.
I do the same thing, Chris.
And if somebody sleeps 10 hours a day, that means there's only 14 hours in their day.
Right.
And just brushing your teeth, preparing your meals, running errands, that takes 4 hours a day. Right. So you're down to like 10 hours.
Sure.
And how much? So I cannot sleep. Like typically, let's say, like if we did this radio show on a Sunday night and I went to bed at 2:30, there's no way I'm waking up past 7 o'clock.
Right.
And
it's a good. The way you've done the math is good, but my dad would say, well, if you sleep 10 hours, you're not going to have as much productivity during the day, but you might live 20 years longer.
Well, they may be right, but I would do this as well, Dave. So I say if I'm 52, and let's say I live to 75 minus 52, that's only 23 years left. If I sleep half of those, I only have real active years left.
Right. Unless you might actually live to 83 if you actually sleep 2 more hours every day. But you might quantitatively only get the same amount of time, so who knows, I don't know. It's like Donald Trump. We only have so much there's only so much energy.
Battery,
right?
Yeah,
the battery's going to wear out. I thought it was a good study, though. I thought it was, it was a validating study. I didn't really need the study to tell me that. I kind of figured it out myself by accident. But it's definitely valid. If you guys take HCG on a long enough basis, you'll probably turn yourself back on. I think a lot of guys don't really care about turning themselves back on. I think people like to take shots. Don't you think we live in a society? People like to take HRT. They want to take their steroid shot every week. Everyone calls it HRT or TRT or hormone replacement. Let's face it. Half the country's juicing now, right? All these guys are on hormone replacement. They're juicing. They're juicers.
I think Bob Kraft may be juicing.
And the owner of the Patriots, he got caught with what? Some at a massage parlor?
He got caught apparently at I guess a massage parlor or something like that. And there's a tape out there. So how long before TMZ has that?
I don't know. I'm sure that they'll release it. At least as long as I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. Let's talk about something more positive.
Yes.
There was a news story on February 18th that a power lifter actually saved a man who was pinned by his 2-ton SUV. Ryan Belcher was leaving work Thursday afternoon. Did you send me this?
I sent that to you.
Oh, you did? Okay. I guess he works in Michigan. When he heard a loud noise in the distance, it was a big smash. I guess it was a car crash. He ran over there. There was a man pinned by an overturned Jeep with his body halfway out of the wreckage. 4 people were trying to get it off him. They couldn't. He was saying his legs. He couldn't feel his legs. Belcher, who weighs 350 pounds and has squatted 950 pounds before. That's pretty cool. Approached the Jeep that weighed nearly 2 tons. The 29-year-old stuck his arms inside the car and just grabbed it, hoping to move the car that had trapped the man against the speed limit sign. Lifting and pushing, Belcher leveraged his weight to move the car perhaps 3 feet. He told the network enough to free the man so that he can get him to safety. Wow, a real hero, right?
Yeah.
He lifted up a 2-ton car. That's pretty amazing.
Your boy Larry.
Larry Wheels would have just lifted it over his head. He would have pressed it over his head, probably, Larry. Right?
Yeah.
Larry would have done a bench press with it.
And if it was in Sweden, they would have arrested the powerlifter.
Yeah, they would have drug tested him probably. They would have said, "All right, come with us." He'd be like, "Oh, what are we getting? Getting a medal? You don't have to give me a medal or key to the city. No, we're going to drug test you and throw you in jail."
Yeah.
Shelby Sarnes sent me a really good article that kind of chronicled. You know how they're always trying to figure out like the risk factors. I mean, how to determine if people have like heart disease, and the standard test is what the stress test. They get in that treadmill and they have you start walking, and they keep making it faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
Well, they actually found that push-up, how many push-ups you can do is a better indicator if you have heart disease. So they're saying that, according to this study, men who can complete 40 push-ups are at significantly less risk of heart disease than those who can do fewer than 10. Even more so, men who can do more than 40 consecutive push-ups were found to have a 96% reduction in the case of cardiovascular disease events compared to those who can't. Now, it's interesting. My dad used to do 100 push-ups every night in his room. That was his weight training. Did it for years. I can't even remember when he stopped. I think once he stopped, that's when he got the heart attack. Researchers from Harvard analyzed more than 1,000 active male firefighters who, over the course of 10 years, with the average age of 40 and the average body mass of 28.7. The push-up capacity of each participant, in addition to treadmill exercise tolerances, were measured. They went through a physical exam. Over the 10-year study, 37 heart disease-related events were reported, and all but one of these events occurred in men who could not complete 40 push-ups in the initial physical assessment. That's interesting, right? Maybe that just means that people who can do push-ups tend to take better care of themselves, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Have you seen that? Could be. Have you seen the life insurance they give for people if you can like bench press certain?
Really?
Twice. Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
There's a life insurance company that if you can run a mile under 9 minutes,
right,
and if you can bench press a certain amount of blah 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 your body weight, you get a great price.
Oh wow. Who would have known? Maybe bodybuilders will actually benefit from that. I don't know if bodybuilders can run a mile in under 9 minutes, however. When I was a runner, I used to run under 5 minute miles, obviously. I probably ran a 4:30 mile, I think my best. And, in a race situation, like a long distance, when I would actually just go out running for like my training runs for 10 miles, I was running probably around, 650, 40 miles. So when I hear like, the physical fitness test, you got to run under a 9 minute mile. For me, that's like a joke. But if I ever tried to go run a mile now, I probably would my defibrillator would zap me and I'd probably drop dead.
It would explode.
Yeah. I have no. It's like I have no relevancy because I was in a realm of elite, type of running, and that doesn't make sense to me. These guys come to me with the police academy. They're like, "Oh, I got to run under 11 minutes." I'm like, "You could walk 11-minute mile." I mean, give me a break. I mean, are you guys kidding me?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. You can't run a 9-minute mile anymore.
No, I can't even run at all.
More expensive life insurance.
I can't run at all.
I told you Jay has the cheapest life insurance of all time, right?
I didn't even know he had life insurance.
Yeah, he bought it when he was like 19.
I was wondering.
It was insane. It's like $19 a month for like $10 billion worth of coverage.
Yeah, but he's smart enough to be paying it all that time. Most of these idiots wouldn't even pay it.
Tell me about it. I said, when he told me that, I said, "What?" I don't know what. I don't know what made him so forward thinking.
Right.
That's at 19 or 20, he would say, I need life insurance. And, I'm going to go out and buy it at $19.
The funny thing is, he's got life insurance, but he doesn't even want to have any kids, you told me.
Well, someone could be the beneficiary.
Yeah, maybe his mother or something like that. Jay will probably live to 100, though.
I know. He'll never lose the hair.
No. Well, you have the same hair, so I shouldn't, Speaking of hair, I had my hair done again. I had my hair tattooed again. My head tattooed again. I'll show it to you when I see you.
Oh, yeah.
It looks all right. It's still. I need one more. I think I need to go back one more time.
I haven't got a chance to watch the Growing Up Palumbo
you'll love
show
it.
On. I know I will.
Yeah, my sister. My sister came on the TV show, and we recorded 2 segments. The one was about the microdermal pigmentation thing I got, where they basically tattoo your head. They don't like to say tattoo because it's really not it's a tattoo type of gun, but it has a different head on it, a different needle, a different ink. It's not tattooing, but yeah, they basically color or dot your hair follicles, with this ink basically, and so it makes it look like you have hair growing in there. And I went back twice. They say 3 times usually is a charm, so I probably have to go back the week after the Arnold, get it done one more time. And it wasn't bad, and it didn't hurt that much. It was a little annoying. The second time I went back, they only worked on me for an hour, and I'll go back. So the first time is like 4 or 5 hours. That's a little long, and then they just touch it up. But it looks good. I mean, it looks. I definitely look like I don't have as much hair loss. That's for sure. I would highly recommend it. I mean, it's if your hair is bothering you.
You didn't run into John Hanson in the parking lot, did you?
I didn't know John because John's got very good hair. He doesn't need to worry about his hair either. Yeah, everyone around me has good hair. That's my problem. That's why I have to get my hair. That's why I have to worry about my hair looking good because I can't do I can't do wrap ups with all you good hair. Even Milos has good hair.
Well, Milos looks young. I mean, Milos has got a little anti-aging going on.
Milos has got great hair. You know who else has got good hair? Jean-Pierre Fuchs has got good hair.
Yeah.
Speaking
of, I saw him at the Guru Summit this weekend.
He was at the Guru course this week. I
thought he already took it.
He took it again. That's how he said he's going to come back a 3rd time.
That's because
he's smart.
You know what? That's because when you watch a movie 3 times, you get 5 times as much out of it.
Yeah, he was good.
And if you take the course more than once,
yeah. He wants to educate himself. I actually got him and Brian Hoydick, who also came. Brian took the course for the 3rd time. But Brian and I have been friends for 20 years. And I got them both sitting on my couch in the studio. We did a nice little interview. I think people are going to really like it. We talked about the 90s and, drug cycles back then and, what bodybuilders are doing today. And it was good. It's going to be like a reminiscence, and Jean-Pierre's great because he's like an open book. So I think we even talked about Milos for a little while. Milos's insulin protocol.
Well, he had to compete with Milos because remember, Milos has the record of most show. He competed in every single show ever. He did.
He did. I believe it. I remember. The funny thing about Milos is Milos used a lot of insulin, but he never had his waist was always really good. I don't know.
No, he never had water retention either.
No, it's weird. That's because I know how to remove the water. The water, right?
There's 25 milligrams of lactone with injectable Lasix. So take dry out the Lake Ontario.
With slow carry.
It was
Slow carry. Right.
Dry out Lake Ontario.
Oh, yeah. I miss Milos. Hopefully Milos will be at the Arnold.
Oh yeah, he'll be at the Arnold. We'll be good to get him in the wrap up.
Yeah, I like getting him in the wrap up because he's very because I hate getting the guys in the wrap up that are afraid to really say anything controversial or what they really think. I love the wrap ups we do now because we always get the guys they'll just say whatever they really believe. No one's going to toe the party line and try to back up what the politically correct thing to say is.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, you're right.
But all right, let's talk about the Arnold. I'm just looking at my notes here for a second. Not that I have any notes. All right, so I interviewed a whole bunch of people. Obviously, Redcon 1 sponsoring all our coverage this weekend coming up of the Arnold Classic, and I want to just thank them once again and Aaron Singerman for stepping up to the plate, making it all possible. Chris and I will be doing all our wrap-ups, interviews, and all the fun stuff that you guys expect to see from us. The first person I interviewed actually for the Road to the Arnold Classic, Iron Road to the Arnold Classic, was Victor Martinez. And Victor seems like he's in a really good mental place right now. I mean, he seems very confident. You've seen the video of him online. He looks really good.
Yeah, it looks very good.
I wouldn't be surprised if he snuck into that top 6, and I think if he did, I think that would be a huge victory for him now.
I think that
if he could beat a couple of Olympian guys, I think that
yes, he can.
I think that you have to start talking about this guy as a possible threat. I don't know what crawled up Victor's butt. Maybe because he just had a new kid, but he seems to be remotivated again. He really does. He's in a good place mentally. He hasn't had any injuries. He hasn't had any drama in his life. I don't want to jinx him by saying that, but. That's when Victor's at his best. It's usually when things are going well in his life,
Well, he's got round muscle bellies, big V taper, small waist, tremendous back lat spread, can stand or beat anyone. Thick back, thick pecs, big arms. I guess you'd have to, it boiled down to what's his legs going to look like. So long as they're separated, they'll be good enough.
Right. And what's the conditioning level? He
says
he's light. He said that I think the one, he was really light when he won that night of champions that you helped him for an 03, which was probably his best conditioning, I think, to date.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in that, closer to that value, he said, than his higher value. And I think that's good. I think a smaller Victor Martinez is a better Victor Martinez, in terms of, conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think when Victor tries to come in too big, I think it blows his waist out. He loses that lower lat detail. He doesn't have long lats. He's got those high lats, but they look good when they're really crazy, separated.
Yeah, he could be a wild card. Wild card, I guess it's called.
The interesting thing about it is the two, we always think of, I'm sure Roelly will be probably one of the biggest guys on stage, but, there's been a lot of talk about him not looking so great at 2 weeks out, or when we saw that guest posing footage that was circulating for a while. What do you think about that? Have you analyzed that at all?
Well, he didn't look good at all last year. He was 4th.
Mm-hmm.
People forget that, he... Clearly, when he's impressive, he's crazy. But like anyone else, when you're off, you're off. So last year at the Arnold, he was off, and that just might be a simple fact of it's hard for a lot of people, especially big guys, to gas it, and put it all on the line at the Olympia. The Olympia's like late September. By the time you get home and relax, recoup, it's like late October. Where do you go from there? You start prepping in November, December, January. The show's here.
Sure.
It's hard to do back to back. It's not a back to back show, but it takes a lot. Listen, to prep for the bigger you are, the harder it is to prep for multiple shows.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
Well, Brandon Curry, when I interviewed him this week, and that interview should be up also this coming week, Brandon said that Roelly didn't come out to Oxygen Gym till 8 weeks out from the show, which is, and he wasn't in the best shape. And, Brandon saw the video, but he said he did say that, Roelly's one of these guys that doesn't lose muscle no matter what you do to him. So if you can starve him and give him like 3 hours of cardio a day, and his body will turn around and he won't look any smaller. So Brandon said he wouldn't be surprised if Roelly showed up in shape, Well, really.
When he won the Chicago Pro, he came to Guy Sistanino's room, which I was in, and Guy was like inside out for that show.
Yeah.
And Guy, the tanning people were in Guy's room, and Roelly came and he tanned, and it was like 2 days before the show. And I thought, God, it just doesn't. I just took a quick look, like out of the corner of my eye, and think, he's really off. 2 days later, he was ripped.
So yeah, he might be a water, a lot. Like Kai Green used to hold a ton of water.
Yep.
Remember Kai would show up for the Arnold like at 280, and then he would get on stage at like 255.
Yeah.
How he lost all that weight, I have no idea. Only Oscar Arden knows that, but it would happen. And so Roelly could be in the same boat. Because we were originally, where we were basically looking at Roelly Winklaar and William Bonac as the two top guys in that lineup, especially because of their Olympia placings. And, then you see Roelly 2 weeks out, he's a little off, but, that might be good because maybe these guys will become a little complacent and think, well, he's not a factor anymore. And we know that Roelly is going to probably be a top 3 or 4 guy no matter what, Even if he's a little off, he's probably going to be top 4, I would say.
Well, the bizarreness is if he's heavy, I mean, he's going to be the thickest guy on the stage, bar none,
Sure.
period. Not a doubt.
But his shape is not the best up there, so when he comes in a little off, it really looks worse, I think, on him than, say, a guy like Cedric McMillan maybe being a couple pounds off because he has such a good structure,
Mm-hmm.
Well, the two biggest guys in the lineup, aside from Roelly, are going to be Josh Lonardo and Luke Sando. I mean, if you think about it. Josh is 280 now. He'll probably come down to in the 270s, I'm sure, for the show. And Luke is huge, too. What is he weighing?
He's
I just interviewed him too.
Wait a minute. What is the kid from Australia?
He's 280 right now.
281. Luke's 281.
And Luke is
bigger
what?
No, he's 260.
Oh, but Luke is really short though, isn't he? Like 5'7"?
No, I think he's about 5.
No, he told me 5'7" on the interview.
Is he 5'7"? I know I'm taller than him because when I saw him in England,
he's 5'7". Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was just as ugly in real life as he was in the pictures, and. And then I was taller than him, so I could bully him if I needed to.
Yeah. He's got those earrings, too, with the big holes in them. He looks like Tattoo Timmy with those earrings. Tattoo Timmy has the same ones. I like Luke, though. Luke's got a great sense of humor. He's got the British sense of humor.
Yes. He just texted me that he's actually on the way to the airport.
Well, all these guys of yours are coming in early because of you. I thought no, listen, hold on. Don't even say a word. I asked all these guys that I interviewed who work with you. I said, you're making Chris Aceto come in early? And they're like, no, Chris is the one who told us to come in early on Monday. I said, I see.
They said, when are you going to be there? I said, Monday. They said, okay, I'll be there Monday because I don't want to be home. Just too much going on.
You just said it. You don't want to be home. You're escaping.
No,
and so you're making all these guys come early. so that you can tell your wife, everyone's here already. I got to be here. No, you know what? You like to babysit these guys the last few days. That's the Bob Grushkin. You learned that from Bob Grushkin. You like to do
I'm going to have fun this week.
Thank God that they have spray tanning now, or you'd be tanning all these guys too.
Oh yeah, like Bob with the little
with the brush,
face cloth.
Yeah, face cloth.
He's
The
tan people with the ripped up weight.
The washcloth. He probably saved those too. Probably used the same ones over and over.
He did save them.
I hope he washed them.
He used to cut the face cloth,
my God.
washcloth up into strips, and he would apply the tan that way.
Good old Bob.
And yet he would always have the best tanning. He was like a tanning chemist.
Well, because the tanning was so bad back then that, like, you know, if you got to
make a big difference.
Yeah, it didn't. If you got to get the color right, you got to get it even. His guys were always tanned great. I will say that.
Yeah, because he used to get the Dioderm.
And mix it with the Protan, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. He also used to put saccharin in tomato sauce and add water to get the carbs count down.
Yeah. I hate saccharin, but you know what? When you're starving, I'm sure it probably tasted delicious.
Oh yeah. You eat Italian green beans at his house, you're convinced it's pasta.
Yeah.
He'd have you on no carbs for like 9 weeks.
Well, you know, one of the guys I was very impressed with. I didn't get to interview him, but Raphael Brendale is looking really, really good. He's not going to be the biggest guy in the lineup, obviously, but everyone was very impressed with his shape last year and his structure and his conditioning, and he looks like he put on some weight. I mean, I'd have to say he gained 5 or 6 pounds from
he gained 6. You're dead on. He's exactly 6 pounds bigger.
So, I mean, this guy could be very dangerous. I mean, he's not, like I said, he's not going to beat any of these guys on mass, but structure, conditioning, you know, I worry for these guys because a lot of these big guys come in off and they're too soft or they're not showing enough detail, and you get guys like Brendale who comes in and Cedric. And
Raphael can beat Brandon on the front double and front lat spread.
Yeah.
There's the first 2 shots in the show.
He's got great legs, I'll tell you that much.
That's why he can beat him on the front double and front lat spread. And plus, he's got crazy arms.
I think that Brendale matches up with Brandon Curry very well, actually.
That's why I picked him to pick on. Meaning, you know, he's not going to match up with Josh Lonardo.
Curry's won,
you know, or even Keem Williams.
Curry has won 2 Arnold Classics before. Never a USA Arnold, but he's won the Arnold Australia last year, or 2 years ago was that, and then he won the Arnold in Brazil. That's when we were down there when they disqualified Cedric.
Yeah, when Lee Thompson thought Cedric was another black person.
You know, The feel-good guy has got to be Cedric McMillan because no one's talking about this guy. Can you imagine if Cedric comes in and wins, the speech that we will get from this guy?
Well, you'll get the speech. You'll get the Academy Award speech.
But can he outdo the other one that he had? I don't know if he can.
Well, he'll have to go He'll have to go south with it because the last speech was Kumbaya.
Right.
You know, the last speech was like a Martin Luther King speech, right?
Yeah.
This one would be more like a Malcolm X.
Oh, an angry one. You guys counted me out.
He looks very, 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 very impressive.
Does he? Yeah.
Very impressive. Yes.
Well,
it's a crapshoot if he drops the dice and the dice go in the right position, he will win the show without a doubt.
Yeah, because you know his structure is so much better than everyone else's out there. Aside from
his back hasn't been this thick for. I mean, since he won the Arnold 2 years ago, and his arms are bigger than ever.
Really? Is he doing his own diet? Like, you know, his own.
Yeah.
Does he have CC on call there?
No, but he probably floats it around, asks, like, you know, this person, that person.
No, CC, the girl who gets the food.
CC, she's probably still in the mix.
CC at the Fairmont there, she gonna be getting him his meals, his toast and
I'm sure. He'll come in probably. Let's say prejudgments when Friday. No, yeah. Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
What time's the meeting? Friday.
I don't know.
He'll come in at the last minute.
Yeah, I'm sure. He's like Kai. He has got to create some drama. Otherwise, he doesn't have he needs motivation. You know,
they're cut from the same grain in terms of their artists.
Yep.
You know,
well, we got to also put a reminder out there because people may forget, but they score the posing round at the Arnold.
Yes,
that's
you
a
do.
30 score. So guys like Cedric, it's going to work to his advantage for sure. I don't know who else in this lineup is actually a very good poser, but I know that Cedric is.
Yeah,
the
Josh will give Cedric problems, and Cedric will give Josh problems.
Yeah.
But if Cedric is full enough, it won't be an issue.
Cedric is much taller than almost everyone in this lineup, which has got to count for something when he's out there. Assuming doesn't come in too stringy, the height is definitely going to work to his advantage. I think it worked to his advantage against Kai, right?
Yeah, that's why I said that's why I said if he's full enough.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what happens. And, Akeem Williams is a definite dark horse here. You don't know which Akeem Williams is going to show up. I know Oscar's been working.
Oscar don't know which Akeem Williams is going to show up. I know to you.
You're right. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a top 3 guy, but I certainly think he has the ability to be a top 6 guy.
Yeah,
if he's at his best.
He's got a lot of muscle, and his physique is maturing.
Absolutely, and he's got a small waist too.
Yeah.
Now, Lionel Baiki, who is one of the most genetically gifted guys in this lineup, I hear is not necessarily going to make it. Now, I have a text message. Should I read this?
Why not?
All right. Here's the explanation, because we reached out to him. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to read it. I'm going to try to read it as if Lionel was actually.
Well, you've interviewed him, so you know the accent.
Yes, the French accent.
Comment ça va?
Hello, my brother. I have a big passport problem. My passport was still valid for 3 months when I went to apply for a visa for the U.S. They make me pay the visa, but they exclaimed to me that he could not put me the visa in this passport because of the date validity. I assume he means that you can't renew your passport or get a visa if your passport is under 6 months, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's the rule. So I'll get back to reading this. So they asked me to bring the new passport to receive my visa. On the other hand, in the meantime, I already applied for passport at Cameroon Embassy in Paris. And currently, Cameroon Embassy in France is...
Burned down?
It's closed due to vandalism.
Well, almost burnt down then.
Yes. The embassy is closed due to vandalism.
Can't they get the ambassador or something or someone done?
Oh my God! I am waiting for passport from Cameroon, but I have not received anything since. So now I am waiting for a new passport. I think that Roelly went to the embassy and threw a bottle through the window so that Lionel couldn't get his passport. What terrible luck Lionel has. Oh my God. I feel bad for him. The freaking embassy is close to vandalism. How bad can the vandalism be that you got to close the embassy? That's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even believe it. Where's Cameroon?
Oh gosh, Bush would know. Somewhere in Africa.
Is that where he's from? I thought he was French. I didn't know that he was from that his citizenship is Cameroon.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's from Cameroon. He has dual citizenship. Well, maybe
his passport must be from Cameroon if he's going to the Cameroon embassy in Paris. He's obviously not a French citizen, right?
I don't know.
Cameroon
was probably a colony at one time.
The Gulf of Guinea is a Central African country of varied terrain and wildlife. There you go. You were right. It's in Africa. I've heard of Cameroon. What made Cameroon famous? Was it a movie? Something took place in Cameroon?
I don't know.
I like the name of it. I like Cameroon. I didn't know that. So I guess Lionel's from Cameroon and he just was living in France. I hope he makes it. It really got to suck if you're getting ready for a competition, you're dieting for 16 weeks, and then you can't get a passport. And it has nothing to do with George Bush. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Excuse me. He's been here before. Obviously, the guy just let his passport, get too close to the expiration date. Just a word to the wise: if your passport is under a year, renew it. Especially if you travel.
I just renewed mine.
I don't think mine's up till 2023. I still got a couple years.
Right before I went to England.
Oh, you did? That was smart. George Farrey used to tell me all the time that he had to always send it his passport because he traveled so much that they had to add extra pages to it. Because did you know if they can't stamp your passport because there's no place to stamp it, they won't let you travel. They'll stop.
Yeah, that's right.
So I didn't know that. Brother, I travel everywhere.
I'm diamond in the first 3 weeks.
I haven't heard from him. I think he's doing well, though. I don't know, because I know he's been helping a few athletes. I really want to get him on the TV show and find out.
Why don't you get him on? I'll text him. Why don't you come on the show, George?
Yeah.
He'll come on.
Yeah, I think he should. Yeah, we could do next week. We do something with him, a little preview for the Arnold. All right, let me give you some trivia. Who won the
Milos
2000 Arnold Classic?
2000 Wheeler?
Yes. Good. Wow, you're good, Chris. Who won the 2003 Arnold Classic?
Jay.
Right.
273 pounds. Go ahead.
Who won the 1990 Arnold Classic?
89 was Gaspari. No, 88 was Gaspari.
No, 89. You're right. 89 was Gaspari.
89 was Gaspari?
Yeah.
1990? Mike Ashley.
Right. Sean Ray won it, but they disqualified him, and Ashley was second. Yeah. So supposedly Ashley was all natural for that. I don't know about that, but who won 2014 Arnold?
14. Branch?
Nope.
Dexter?
No. You were right in the middle. It's a sore spot for you. I think that's why you're blocking it out.
I gave those answers so unconfidently. The last one, 2014.
Well, but my response.
Oh, it had to be Wolf.
Yeah, right. It was Wolf. Yeah. When he beat Roden, I don't think you and I both thought Roden should have won that year. But.
I think. Well, he'll probably be pissed for me saying. I think Wolf thought he was second going into the finals. He was
Roden
stunned.
Looked amazing at that show.
Roden just told me recently when they announced Wolf's name. I think it was like the story goes like, they're down to 2 and they say, Dennis Wolf. Dennis didn't know if it was for first or second. Sean had to tell him you won.
That's good. Love it. Very funny. They got a really good battle in that pro strongman at the Arnold. I always like to watch. I always want to watch it, but I can never have a chance to because we're always so busy. But the great thing about it is that at the finals on Saturday night for the bodybuilding, they always have the final event, and that's one of the most exciting things I think they do with the Arnold. Doesn't the crowd go nuts for that?
Yeah, they go nuts.
So they have I don't know how many events they do. What do they do? Like 6 events or 8 events, and they do like 4 one day, 4 the next day, or something like that. And the last event on the last day, which is usually determines the winner, they held on the stage, the actual Arnold final stage. They usually do it at the intermission or I forget, right before. I think they do it right before they do the overall for the men's open. And this year they got, Hafthor Bjornsson, who is the mountain in Game of Thrones. He won last year. So he's the reigning champion. Now Brian Shaw is the world's strongest man. He has, he's won that 3 or 4 times now. And it's going to be a great battle between those two guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. They got a lot of good stuff going on. But let me see what else we got here. Classic Physique.
Yeah. Oh, forgot about it.
Classic is going to be a great. I interviewed George Peterson, who's got to be considered, I guess, the favorite going into this because he's the highest ranking Olympian. He was third 2 years in a row. He seemed pretty confident. You know, Justin, his coach, sends me video all the time, and if you saw the way George looked now, you would think that he could, that there's no way anyone's going to beat him. Now, I don't know if it's because when he sucks down to make weight, he sometimes loses a little of that wow factor, but I don't know. If you've ever looked at his Instagram and see some of these videos and pictures, he's crazy looking right now. I don't see anyone beating him in this lineup, assuming he doesn't come down too low.
Well, you got there's another kid in there who was third at the Tampa who's really good.
Well,
Second at Tampa.
You're talking about Kion Pearson, who
he's impressive.
is being trained by Flex Wheeler. Now, I interviewed him last week. I'm going to probably have to re-interview him because he was in the car. He was driving in the car with Flex Wheeler because I guess he's staying with Flex for 2 weeks out in Vegas. I didn't even know Flex lived in Vegas. I'm like, Flex, you live in Vegas? He goes, yeah, I've been here for 5 years. I'm like, well, that tells you where I've been. My head has been. I guess Keon's staying out there with Flex, and I guess they're really working hard on his posing and presentation. He's got a killer physique. I mean, George will be bigger and thicker than him, I'm sure, but he's got a beautiful, beautiful, shape. If we always like to compare who's the next Flex Wheeler, this guy might be, pretty close to it. Crazy looking tie-ins and muscle belly. He's got great arms. Of course, we got Courage Opara in the lineup. He was, he was pretty high ranked. Was he second
he's very
last year
good
or
too.
third last year, something like that?
No. I get those two mixed up, believe it or not. I'm like Lee Thompson.
Yeah. I have, I'm going to be interviewing also next week, this week, I should say. I'm losing track of time here. Your client, Jason Lowe, who's in the lineup as well.
He's very
looking really good. Yeah, you sent me pictures of him. I was pretty impressed. I hear Steve Lorius is looking really good too, who won the Pittsburgh last year.
He's also impressive.
Is he still working with Neil Hill?
I thought he works with. I didn't know. I thought he was working with.
No, he was working last year with who?
Justin.
No, he left Justin. He was working with Neil Hill for the I think for the Olympia, wasn't he?
No.
Khalid Sheik Ali, another great competitor in that lineup. They got a good Ricky Moten, who's always sending me pictures. Really good. Wesley Visser, who we interviewed be up this week.
Yeah.
He's put on 10 pounds of muscle. He's dangerous. It's funny. I was talking to him and I was asking him about, how does it feel to be doing the Arnold Classic? And because he does all the Arnold poses and he's got a very similar physique to Arnold, and everyone compares them. I said, has Arnold reached out to you? Because Arnold must see all this stuff too. He must know this kid's in the lineup. He's like, no, he hasn't reached out to me. I said, well, I said, if you win the show, I said, will you pose down against Arnold on the twisting back shot? He's like, that's my favorite pose. I said, I know. I said, maybe Arnold will give you a couple tips. I mean, Cedric did it with him, right?
Yeah, called him out on it.
I said, you better prepare your speech. I said, maybe you can have Cedric McMillan write it for you.
Yeah, speechwriter.
Yeah, that would be great, though. I'm surprised Arnold doesn't come up with getting the classic guy, the winner of the classic, to pose down against the open guy. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun. Audience would love it, right?
Right? Yeah. Be like the old Pumping Iron days. I'm excited to see the classic, to be honest with you. Maybe more so than. The Open is a pretty good lineup this year.
Yeah, the Open is stacked. But the Classic will be stacked too, because everyone will be peeled. You watch.
I'm sure. The wheelchair division is going to be great too, because we got the Harold Kelly, who has been unbeaten. No one can beat this guy. Will be there, and Chris Dim is going to be doing his first wheelchair event. So that should be interesting. I mean, Chris Dim was an Olympian at one point. Obviously, we all know that he had a spinal cord injury during a surgery to fix a torn aorta, and he wound up losing the ability to use his legs. Although, I interviewed him, Chris, and he's getting feeling back in his legs. It's amazing. He's been going for stem cell therapy. And what did he say? Is he going to Mexico, or I forget where he's going. Was it Mexico? Yeah, Amanda said it's Mexico. Yeah, he's been going. The guy's been doing it for free for him too. It's like really expensive therapy, and he's been working on him for free and giving him like 5 gazillion cells of all over his body. They're doing IVs in him. They're doing into his spinal cord. They're doing it. They're doing it everywhere. I mean, if Chris Dim doesn't regenerate from all the stem cells he's getting, then they don't work. But Chris says he's been feeling feeling back. So I don't know. He says he was going to walk. From the minute he had that injury, he told me, he goes, I'm going to walk. I don't care what people say. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in that lineup. And then we have the men's physique with the return of Sadiq Hadzovic, switching back from classic to men's physique. Can you go backwards like that? You think he can reestablish himself as a top guy in men's physique after having switched to classic?
I think so.
Has the division evolved?
No, I think it's evolved, but I think that his physique has evolved. I think probably moving to classic, which means he had to,
put on some size.
Yeah, put on some size. It's going to keep him right in the mix when he diets back down for this. Because remember, what he has in the board short division going for him is width. He's very wide.
Yeah, he is.
Small waist, great abs, and he can sit on the abs and his pecs are still full. So if he's still carrying a good amount of mass from when he, bumped it up to the classic and then came back down, I think he's going to be in the running. Yeah. I think he's going to be, in the running to win. In other words, if he had stayed in the class, maybe the class would have just, evolved without him.
Right.
Maybe he wouldn't have enough muscle.
Sure, it's good analysis. Andre Ferguson returning as the returning champion, trying to defend his title. Logan Franklin in that lineup. Oh, he's been sending me pictures. He always looks great. He's put a lot of size on also. I think the guys are going to be a lot bigger than we used to seeing in the men's physique.
They'll be gigantic.
Kamani Victor, another great guy in the lineup. So there's a lot of excellent. Raymond Edwards, who just won in Medellin, Colombia, for the first show of the year. So he's coming off a victory. That's got to be, a little bit of momentum, even though Cedric says that momentum doesn't count for anything, but I say it does. George Brown in this lineup, who's won pro shows in the past, so it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. The history of the Arnold men's physique has been Sadiq Hadzovic, who won the very first one in 2015, with Brandon Hendrickson winning in 16, Ryan Terry in 17, and then Andre Ferguson winning last year. It's a shame the prize money is only $5,000 for the winners.
Wow.
Right? You would think they'd up that.
Yeah.
You know what? The classic is only $5,000. Think about that. And the men's bodybuilding is what, like $120,000 for first prize?
No. You know what? Dave, when Sean won the Olympia, the first thing I said to him right after the show, like the next day, is
pay me my money. No, just kidding.
No, do the Arnold.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, I thought that the prize money was like $250.
No, it's not. It hasn't really gone up that
Dave,
much.
It's never crossed my mind what the prize money is at the Olympia or these shows until Sean said, no, the prize money is something, whatever. What is it? 120?
The Open is this year 130.
Yeah, I said then it's I said
after
it's worth
taxes, you're at 75 to 80 grand. Yeah, I mean it's still a nice paycheck, but Sean made 400 grand for the Olympia. It's really, if he can't live on that, for the year. Plus he's got his supplement contract. He should be pretty well off. I'm sure he's doing guest posings too, and I'm sure you guys just did that UK tour. This has got to be Sean's biggest earning year, I would think, right?
I would think so.
Good for him. At 43, it's about time, right?
Yeah, 43.
I love it. I love to hear that. To me is a real success story. Is he going to be out there watching?
Yeah, he'll be there.
Okay, good.
He'll be there soaking it up.
I'm looking at the figure division lineup. I see Melissa Bumstead, Chris's sister there. Sydney Gillen, who's the defending Olympia champ. she's in that lineup. I have to believe that she's the favorite, especially since, there's no LaToya Watson, there's no Candice Lewis, who's last year's champion. They're not in the lineup. So I can't imagine anyone really challenging Sydney, but you never know. Someone could be off. You can never be too confident. But she's young. I bet she comes in and looks great. I can't imagine her being off at this show, or at least off enough that anyone could beat her. In the women's physique, I have to believe that Nathalia Coelho from Brazil has got to be considered the favorite here, especially since Shanique Grant is obviously not doing the show, our Olympia champ. Sharonica Henton should push her, I think. She's got a great physique if she's in shape. It's a lot of women in the women's physique lineup here. Tremendous amount of people. I guess what they do is they allow more people to come and then they eliminate at the top 10 for the finals. They're still maintaining that new rule. I'm just looking over the lineup here. I don't see anyone beating Nathalia Coelho, to be honest with you. But we'll see. Do you know who won the first Miss Physique International?
Oh, yeah, that was... give me the year.
2015.
Wait a minute. I was going to say Mia Finnegan.
No, the Women's Physique International.
No, I wouldn't even...
You know, just say it.
No, I don't know.
You only know one or two competitors in the whole lineup, so what's
well, I know the
history
girl,
of the sport.
Sydney.
No, we're talking about women's physique. We're not talking about
women's
figure.
physique.
Yeah,
women's physique. Have to be the Brazilian girl.
Yeah, you only know one person. What's her name?
Let me see. I'm looking at my board. It says "Practice working on your memory." With
There you go.
around.
That's why I'm testing your memory, so you can.
Oh, thank you for coaching me,
Juliana Malacarni.
Yeah, Malacarni. Yeah. Juliana Malacarni.
She was the first champion. You always remember the first. Remember that, Chris.
First and last. It's like albums.
First and last. But hopefully there'll never be a last, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
At some point Arnold's going to die, whether it be 20, 30 years from now. Wouldn't it be weird to have an Arnold Classic without Arnold there? It'll be like an Arnold Classic memorial, show. You think his son will come up and start giving speeches or something like that?
No, but yeah, I mean there'll be those. It's a funny life, right? Did I tell you that Joe Weider has been dead since 2013?
I think so. Yeah.
And it's first 4 months people oh, Joe's dead. A year, Joe's dead. After that, it's no big deal.
Yeah, but you know what? But Joe was kind of out of it because he was really old. So, I don't think people were used to seeing Joe come up on the Olympia stage and say anything or make a speech.
Well, he never gave speeches, too.
That's true. Ben Weider would always give the speeches that everyone would go to the bathroom while he was speaking. And he'd give his Olympia spiel, about the about the Olympics, trying to get
Did I tell you, I did say on the radio show once what Jay summation, his thoughts of going up to visit Joe Weider were?
What were they?
He said it was like visiting the President of the United States.
Oh, really?
Because you'd go into the for people who don't know, Joe had his own building. I think I was surprised he didn't own it. I heard he rented it, but it was like
the Woodland Hills office?
The Woodland Hills office was Class A office space. So you walk in, and it's got a crazy entry, and they have these oil paintings of Ferrigno, Arnold, I can't remember who else, a couple others. Maybe.
Joe Weider with Robbie Robinson's body on it, yeah.
Yeah, and then you walk in, and it's like walking into a library, death quiet.
Yeah, I love that office.
Super high ceilings, everything's white on white, and then you got all those Remington sculptures everywhere. So it looks like an art museum.
It was gorgeous. It really was. It must have been awesome to go into work every day for Joe. Because it was like you had said, it was like being in a museum. I would have put a T-Rex skeleton in there, like a real life one. I think that would be great.
And then he had you'd go upstairs, take the stairs up, and you'd have to go by the secretary who would have the secretary for like 40 years, I forgot her name, she'd have her little bifocals on, and she'd look at you like a librarian, like, what are you doing here? You say, hi, I'm here to see Joe Weider, and they're like, okay. You'd have to sit in his waiting office, his waiting room, which was plush with artwork and flags, and then when you go in to see Joe, he had his office looked like the boardroom from The Apprentice.
Really? Yeah. I was in there, and when I was at the office, I went once or twice. Joe wasn't there. And they did show me around, and I saw his office, so I saw what it looked like. But I never really got to talk to Joe alone in his office, and that never was in the cards for me. I worked for Bleckman, so once I started working for Bleckman, I was persona non grata there.
Did I just say persona? Did you hear me say that?
Yeah, we said it at the same time. Yeah. Jinx. Right.
Yeah, you were like a spy. Jinx. You could have been a spy. You could have been planting like a microphone in Joe's office.
And the truth was, the only reason I even got invited to the office the first time it wasn't even because of me. It was because my ex. she was appearing on the cover, or they were doing some kind of crazy photo shoot for her. They invited her, so I was just like the tag along guy. I was like the bag carrier, for her. But you were probably like that. Well, isn't that how you met Joe? Well, did you meet Joe first, or did Laura Cravell meet Joe first?
Let's see how I met Joe. I met Joe through... Oh, I remember how I met Joe. How I met Joe on my own terms, not through Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Dieters, who was the editor...
Oh, right. Wasn't he your roommate or something?
He was my roommate at the bodybuilding camp.
Right.
And he became editor-in-chief.
Right.
So I had my little office at Gold's, and he calls me up and he says, can you write a story? I said, what type of story? He said, I'd like a training story. And I said, I can try. And I wrote it with a pen.
Oh, my God. You're funny. That's what you submitted?
Yes.
So Tom had to have it like typed up for you?
Yeah, so someone else had to type it up. And I was so, you know what? I'm always that type at that time in my, like I was like 21. If someone would say, if someone like Joe would say, like, for example, if Joe Weider would say, hey, Arnold, let's go out to dinner. I'm like, no, I might say the wrong thing. I just, I used to be too shocked that someone would invite me. Like, so I was shocked when, I sent up that, like, it was written on a yellow notepad.
A napkin. Oh.
And Joe called me personally and said he loved it.
Oh, wow. He actually read it. That's great.
And I can't remember what the conversation, but he said, how would you like a job? But I'm like, doing what? He said, writing. And I said, I can't write. He said, this article was great, and I'd be willing to pay you and this and that. Wow. And he said, why don't you come up to the office? And it was like surreal. I'm like, you liked it.
That people have to understand, there was no computers really back then. Maybe some guys had word processors.
They offered to buy me a
one of the Macintosh ones.
Yeah, Mac.
That's what I was using in college. Yeah.
Joe gave me the money to buy a word processor.
And you probably pocketed it.
You know what, Dave? I swear I'm going to take a picture of it. It's in my office now, and I'm going to post it on Instagram. I'm going to write that down. Word processor, the one Joe bought me.
Oh, you did buy it? You did?
Yeah, I still have it.
Was it a Brothers? Word processor?
And it had like the old iPhone about size screen, and that's what you could see.
I should have when my dad's one, because what happened is my dad would only type on the word processor. I don't know even how he learned how to use it, because you can't even see the screen is so small and it's in green writing. And
that's exact one I have.
Yeah. And so my dad, every time one would break, because he would use it a lot, and they would every couple of years they'd break. Eventually they stopped making them, so I had to start like looking on eBay for these things, and I bought them too. And when the second one burnt out, I could have called you and gotten yours from you. I didn't even know you had one. You see, I could have extended my father's writing career another 2 years. My father was using a Brothers word processor in 2010. You
know what? When I had that processor, I used to. When I moved to Maine, I would take the disc. I'd save the crap on the disc.
Yeah, and the little, it wasn't a floppy. It was like a little hard disk.
Yeah, a little hard disk.
Yeah,
That's
exactly
exactly
the same
it.
one, probably. You and my dad
It
probably.
was like 2 inches by 2 inches disc, and I'd FedEx it out using their FedEx number to. What was the address? 21100 Irwin Street. Now I sound like
yeah,
Jay.
that's
Woodland Hills 91367.
Yeah, that was it.
That's how many articles I wrote.
That's
I
great.
remember the address.
And how long did you write for that for Flex and Muscle and Fitness?
I must have wrote for them for. Holy smokes! You know how long I wrote for them? 89 to 2000 and. What year did he sell the magazines?
When did Blackman try to take credit for hiring?
2008. I must have read for him 15 years.
Wow.
Blackman. Okay, Blackman.
I gave you a shot, Chris.
You're unappreciative.
I believed in you.
Yeah. Well, I said when he told me that, I said, so did my kindergarten teacher, so did my 6th grade teacher, and my parents. What is it?
I always believed in you, Chris.
Dave, you think I'm kidding that I don't have that word process? It's
I
right
believe
here
you.
in my
No,
office.
you knew because you there was no way you could have identified all the parts that I was referring to. All right, getting back to the Arnold Classic. Whitney Jones trying to defend the Fitness International title. She's also the reigning Olympia champ now since Oksana Grishina kind of disappeared. Bikini International, stacked lineup. Stacked bikini girls. And I actually know who they are. That's amazing. It tells you I still follow the sport. One of my favorites, Janet Leig, is in the lineup, of course. Ashley Kaltwasser, 3-time Olympia champ, in the lineup as well. Lorelei Chapados, who was second at the Olympia, in that lineup as well. So the only person we don't have in the lineup is the reigning Olympia champ, Angelica Teixeira. I don't see her name on here, at least. So I guess she's not doing it. But she's won this a couple times before, too. Mm-hmm. Karina Skoronska, our Muscle in the Morning dark horse. Do you know who won the first Bikini International? You'll never get this one.
Yeah, dude.
I would get it, but you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know who. I couldn't even begin to.
2011. She was still in, I think, high school when she won it.
Oh, DeGrado.
I'll give it to you, Nicole Negrani. Very good. very, very impressive, Chris.
Would Pat Sajak give me that? Negrati. Could Negrati?
No. Sajak wouldn't give it to you. He'd be like, sorry, Chris. Does anyone else want to try to take a stab at this?
I do it like Jim Carrey and go like this. Negrati. Yeah, Negrati.
Harold Kelly, like I said, defending that wheelchair. You know what Harold Kelly's nickname is? This is pretty funny. I didn't even know it.
No, I have no idea.
King Kong Kelly. I love it.
King Kong Kelly. I wonder how you get that nickname.
I don't know. It's a good nickname. He'll be defending against Chris Dim and the rest of the lineup. Harold Kelly won actually all 3 of the Arnold Pro Wheelchair events from 2016, 17, and 18. So I don't know. He's really good. I don't know if Chris Dim is good enough to beat him, to be honest with you. I'm looking at a picture from last year. Sean Roden's actually up on stage, holding his hand up. I guess maybe Sean was working for a company that was doing something here. That's pretty funny. So we'll have to see. The lineup this year is Anand and Arnold, Tyler Bree, Harold Kelly, Joshua Foster, Joshua Ruckner, and Chris Dim. Dim's got to be the feel-good candidate in that lineup, that's for sure. Obviously, we're going to be out there. We'll be doing all our Meet the Arnold athletes on Thursday. Chris and I will be doing a little prediction video out there. Friday,
are you doing the what's that?
Hall of Fame ceremony? Yep.
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame is on. Bob Goldman's Hall of Fame ceremony is on Saturday, right before the men's prejudging, as it always is. That's at 12 noon. Then we'll be going to men's prejudging and then the finals, obviously. And we'll obviously be at the Expo on Friday and Saturday and doing booth interviews and all kinds of fun stuff. We got to go to the Redcom booth and see all the excitement they got going on over there. We'll be trying to visit as many of our favorite people, in the expo hall. I don't even know where to go anymore. I just kind of walk around, and whoever I see, I kind of just grab and we interview them. Always turns out pretty good. It's a shame, once Rich Piana wasn't in the, once he died and he was no longer in the expos just don't have the same energy anymore. Because that was like a pit stop I always made at the Rich Piana booth. Got to do the Rich Piana interview. Boston Lloyd ought to set up a booth at the Arnold Classic every year. Don't you think he would be mobbed there? He's so lazy, though. He doesn't like to leave his house. He's like antisocial.
Well, maybe he can Skype in and just have like a screen.
If Boston set up like a booth...
He can Skype in and he can have a screen and people can stand around the screen and he can insult people who are at...
No, Boston needs to get... that at the carnivals when they have people in the dunk booth? Where they sit on that thing and you have to try to throw like a ball at the thing and knock them into the big thing of water. Mm-hmm. Boston's got to set up something like that with a GoPro on there, so that people can watch it live from home. He can have his own live stream, and he has to have a huge picture of himself, like with like a big syringe with dripping with like steroids out of it. And the picture would be him just about before he puts the thing into his butt, and that would be the backdrop of the booth. And he would sit in this little cage, and he would let people throw like the free protein bars that they get from all the other booths at him, and if they can dunk him in the booth, all the people who can't stand him.
I think you could have a booth, and you could have Romano and Lee Priest doing a live Iron Rage.
There you go. If you remember back in the day, though, when we were running those muscular development booths that we had set up, we had a stage show going on. I mean, we nonstop for 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the amount of people that was around that stage was crazy.
They're not doing that stage this year, Dave.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know if I would ever have the energy to last 3 days anymore. The idea of doing it right now would be, I hate to say I feel like I'm getting old, but I don't think I can do it for 3 days. Yeah,
you're getting old, huh?
I think I'm just getting lazy.
Well,
you know what the truth is? I'm full of crap. If you gave me a microphone, I'd stand there for 3 days and I'd fucking...
Yeah, you just did it in Dubai. What are you talking about?
That's true. You're right, I did. So I'm full of it. I'm lazy now because I don't do it on a regular basis, but if I had to do it, I can step up to the plate and do it. I will say one thing, and I've gone to FIBO, which is the biggest expo in the world probably for fitness. I've been at the Dubai Muscle Show, which was really awesome. I've been to the Olympia Expo. Nothing beats the Arnold Expo.
Why?
The Olympia is a better show, but the Arnold Expo, because I don't know, there's an energy in that place. There's more booths than any place I've gone. Even though FIBO's a little bigger, it's different. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's like everyone who sets up a booth there tries to outdo each other there, which is great. It's great for the fans. And it just seems like they give away more free stuff there. Like if I'm a fan and I'm going to an expo, that's where I'm going. I always loved the Arnold Expo. I did. I always said, you know what, this is the best expo in the world. And it's convenient too. If you live in the U.S., I mean, a flight to Columbus, Ohio is just not expensive. Unless you're leaving from Fort Myers, Florida.
And Portland, Maine. So.
You know what? Delta had the nerve to want to charge me $650 for a flight with a connection in whatchamacallit, in Atlanta.
I have to go to New York, and it's I think
it's crazy. But I found a direct flight on Spirit. I'm going direct. I didn't even know it. Fort Myers, right to Columbus,
Ohio. Better not bring any luggage.
Yeah, here's the scam. It's $180 round trip, but you have to pay for luggage, which I'm not bringing any. So I said, I'm going to avoid that fee. But no, Spirit charges you for a carry-on. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, so I have to pay for the carry-on, and then they allow you to pick your seats. I said, that's nice. You can pick your seats. And I notice on all the seats, there's a price tag on the internet as I'm picking them. I'm like, maybe some of these seats are more expensive because they're better seats. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute, all the seats have a dollar sign on them. So I'm like, well, probably the cheap ones they give you. So I picked the $17 seat on the way there and the way back. And then I see when my bill gets totaled up at the end, no, they charge you for the seat too. Let me ask them a question. For $182 round trip, if I don't bring a carry-on, where do they think I'm going to sit?
Yeah.
If I don't want to pay for a seat. In other words, isn't the $182 covering the seat? What did I just pay for?
The fee.
The fee for what?
The booking fee. The booking fee for the seat.
I paid for the ability to step onto the plane. Now, if I want to sit, what if I want to stand the whole time? Can I get away with not paying the $17 per seat?
I don't know. Me and Roden flew once in Europe.
Yeah.
And the seats were, first of all, the tickets were like $1. And then the luggage was like $4,000. And not only that, but you had to, this is the kicker. They did like an infomercial.
Yeah.
That lasted like 45 minutes to an hour before we took off. In other words,
it was like one of those timeshares.
Yeah, you'd have to buy stuff. You'd have the opportunity. They gave you the opportunity to purchase.
Yeah.
Like junk.
That's so funny.
Like it was like a Ronco. You know the Ronco commercials?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was like that in real life.
Well, for people who are asking, there is a live stream. ArnoldSportsFestival.com. More than 70 hours of live coverage this year. Sponsored by our good friends over at Redcon 1. So, if you want to check that out, you can watch the live stream. There's also, I see, they actually have a pretty good website. Celebrity appearances this year are going to be by Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Phil Heath. It's going to be
on the live stream?
No, this is just guest appearances at the expo, I guess.
Okay.
Rocky Blyer, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's getting the Hall of Fame, inducted to the Hall of Fame. Randy Couture, WWE guy. Who else? Who else do people would know? Amanda Latona. Josh Wade. Breon Ansley, our Classic Physique Olympia champ, will be there. Let's see who else. Danny Union, good friend to the show. Jason Poston will be there. Sergi Constance. What's going on with Sergi Constance, Chris? I know you used to work with him, but
I don't know what's happened with Sergi. He wanted to become a classic bodybuilder, but he's probably too busy counting his
money from all the
his dinero. He's like the Marlboro Man to fitness.
I see Guy Cisternino's making an appearance here too.
I see Guy split with his supplement company.
Oh, it says location MFit Sups. He's going to be at. See if there's anyone else who I recognize in this. A lot of Simeon Panda. I don't really know the guy, but he seems like a very popular social media guy. He's all over the place. I don't think there's anyone else. Chris Bumstead is making an appearance too. He'll be at the Beat Kicks booth. Marvin Washington, 12-year NFL veteran.
I thought you were going to say Marvin Ward.
Whatever happened to Marvin Ward? That's a better question. He just
I don't know, man. Talk about a Lion Obaiki.
He disappeared.
In other words, talk about potential.
Marvin Ward was great.
Oh.
Great 212 guy. Remember the New York Pro that year? He was all the way on the... You remember he was like all the way on the left. We was screaming for Marvin Ward, right? I helped him that year. We was screaming for him. He was great. Remember? He was like 4'10".
Yeah, perfect symmetry.
with a 12-inch waist, and 20-inch arms.
Giant legs.
He looked great that year. Oh my god! I think he got third, didn't he? Behind some top guy. I think Jose had won or something like that.
No, he got third and second. Wait a minute. I can't remember.
It was a great show. I remember that.
Yeah, maybe he got second.
He was right up there. Any other show he would have won. It was a tough lineup. I thought he was third, but it might have been second. I'm not sure. So one of our viewers will correct me, I'm sure.
he's like a Dexter.
Yeah.
In other words,
he could show up at 60 years old and start winning shows.
Oh no, not only that, but if they were both bantamweights, but he's much better bantamweight than Dexter was bantamweight.
Yeah, the difference is he's still a bantamweight, and he can at the bantamweight weight he's winning shows. Yeah. Dexter at least went up to a heavyweight in weight. All right, so I'm looking forward to seeing you out there this week. Yeah. Obviously, we don't get to see each other as much as we used to because we have too many kids floating around now and responsibilities. But Chris will be out there Monday. For all you people who might need to last minute fine tuning, Chris will be
come to my hotel room and I'll take a look at you.
Yeah, Chris will be charging $10 to $20 a view. If you have to go up there and have him check you out, just bring him a cup of coffee and. What else? What do you put in your coffee? You drink your coffee black, don't you?
Well, no, I already packed a ton of tea because I got hooked on tea in England.
Oh, really? Like what kind of tea do you drink?
Well, I'm going to bring Earl Grey.
Wow, you're really a Brit now. Chris, you love going. Whenever you go to foreign countries, you always adopt their customs. You got your religion from there. You got your right.
Exactly. Don't send me to Jamaica. I might come up back.
A Rastafarian, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rastafarians, the guy who's putting the tile on my pool is like a Rastafarian. He plays the music all day. I go out there. I'm like, I just want to smoke a joint with him. I'm just like sitting around like, holy mackerel, this is really mellow. I love it. He's like taking his time. Took him like 3 days. He's like, don't worry, man. This is going to look great. And he's right.
It does look great. I saw it.
Phenomenal job he did, this guy.
On your
Instagram. He did such a good job, Chris. I'm trying to get him to tile my house now. I'm like, do you do indoor tile too? He's like, yeah.
That's how you find people.
Yeah, but the problem is he'll probably take 3 months to do it. He'll be like watching my kids. He'll be here so much. Can you watch my kids? I got to run to the store. So it's all good, though. It's all good. I had to tell you something else. I may have to save it for
what you think? You got to work on your memory. You like me.
There was so much going on this week. It was such an exciting week.
Do you have a quote of the week?
No, I don't. The quote of the week is go to the Arnold. I'll have a quote of the week probably after the Arnold, I'm sure. There'll be some wisdom that I can impart upon everyone. Oh, I did a I know what I want to bring up. I did a rant on I was trying to go buy a new pair of sneakers, and I went on Nike.com and I saw that LeBron James has a sneaker, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty nice sneaker. So I go to buy it. You can customize it, change the colors, and they don't have my size. They only have size up to size 14, and I wear a 15. And so I said, man, LeBron James. I said, I wonder what size LeBron James wears. So I Googled it. Comes back that LeBron James wears a size 15 like I do. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me get this right. LeBron James wears a 15, but the Nike.com only sells a size 14. And LeBron James 16.
Is a lot taller than you, too. So
very tall. But it doesn't matter. We both wear the same size shoe, but they don't make a 15. Or at least they didn't have a 15 on the Nike website. If they don't make a size 15, what is LeBron wearing? Is he wearing a special made pair of shoes that they don't make for anyone else, or is he actually not wearing his own shoes? That's what I want to know. I went nuts. So now I'm going to be wearing my old Nike, whatever I had, black shoes with scuff marks. See, I've been gardening lately. I've been planting fruit trees and putting mulch down because we could do that when it's 85 degrees. You guys have snow, you can't do that. And I'm planting, tomato plants and getting my garden going and everything like that. So my shoes are all dirty. And then I realized, I probably need to change these shoes by now anyway. So I went on the site to try to buy them. I can't find Nike.com doesn't have a size 15 in anything. I don't know why. All the shoes I don't like, with the weird colors. Can you imagine if I showed up at the Arnold with like yellow sneakers like Tony Freeman used to wear? How ridiculous would I look? Because, when I go to these shows now, I don't even want to bring I don't want to pack extra shoes with me. I neatly fold up a sport jacket, and a pair of black pants and in my carry-on, and that's it. I don't want to have to put shoes in there, so I figure I have black sneakers. I can't even get a black pair of sneakers anymore. Nike.com.
Nike had to. Did you see one of the Nike sneakers exploded on one of their star college players, and then he got hurt?
What exploded in there?
I don't know. His shoe fell apart or something during the game.
I always wonder. I see my son running around with these shoes that light up. I'm always wondering what would I mean? Is there any like hazardous material in these shoes? There's got to be a battery in there somewhere, right?
Yeah. There's a battery somewhere, right? Or they're just recharged when you jump on them or something. I don't know
what they do.
Isn't it funny that you have to take your shoes off? I'm going to the airport in like 3 hours. I got to take my shoes off.
Well, that's because you got to get the TSA approved.
I know.
Too
cheap
cheap to do that. Yeah, too cheap.
I'm too cheap.
Matter of fact, I just renewed mine.
How much is it again?
I don't know. Who knows? It's worth it. I don't want to wait on the line. The funny thing is, now that I don't live in New York, it doesn't even matter because the airport here in Fort Myers is they don't even do the TSA line. But the funny thing is, if you're TSA approved, they make you don't have to take your shoes off. But but you know what the problem is? I can't go through the regular scanner. The metal detector because I have the defibrillator. So
that's right.
I always wind up getting patted down, which takes 10 times longer anyway. They're like, do you want to go in a private room? I'm like, do you think I want to waste any more time going in the back room? Just fucking do it. Do it. Pat me down, man. Come on. Grab my crotch. I don't care. Whatever you got to do. Let's just get me out of here already, you know?
There was one shoe bomber, and now we have to take off our shoes for life.
I know.
And there's like 1,000 mass shootings every year in the U.S. And
overseas, they don't make you take your shoes off.
You don't have to.
Right? When you went to England, they didn't make you take your shoes off. On the way back, right?
You don't have to show an ID to buy a gun. That was my point.
Oh, yeah. I know.
I have to take my shoes off tomorrow, but someone in my town can go shoot people, and then you can still go out and buy. I mean,
that's right. Well,
because you know what? I see some. Don't you see like in the airports? Like I know you don't know, but I see like old people being pat down like their crotch, and it's like a little old man or a little old lady, like she said the beeper off.
You're right. It's ridiculous. You know what? They should profile people because that's they know how to profile people correctly. Why? Because there's a science to it. They can read body language. They can read. They got people that understand this.
They do profile. They only pull the little old lady and the old man that I was just talking about, just so that they say, "See, we don't."
No, because it's they do it based on
color.
No, they do it randomly. That's why you get old ladies. You get old ladies because it's randomly done. It shouldn't be done. I want them to profile people at the airport. Don't you? I want the suspicious characters and the people that look like they shouldn't. I don't want those people to get lucky and get a pass because they didn't get their number picked.
Yeah. No, but then there'd be just be like everything else. It'd be like in Los Angeles when you drive around LA and you're black, you get pulled over for being black.
But you know what? I don't care. In the airport, that's fine. They're not beating people up in the airport. They're just searching their bags. It's not like they're doing anything that's terrible to them. The little old lady in the wheelchair is not carrying a freaking bomb, okay? My dad is not carrying a bomb, you know. Get the person who looks like they're carrying a bomb and check them. And if they don't have it, then great. You know what? Who cares? At least they checked. There's no reason not to do that. You can profile in airports. I know people. You watch these shows where these guys, they can read body language and they know when people are doing something they shouldn't do because they're moving in a certain way, they're looking in a certain way. That's the guy I want screening my people. I want these morons that can't even fucking work a computer checking Mrs. Jones for 20 minutes while the two terrorists just walk by her, you know? That's just how I feel. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but in the airport, I want them profiling people. Pull out the people you think should have the bombs. If they don't have bombs, great. Who cares? Then they're cleared. If you're looking for steroids, stop the bodybuilders. They do that all the time, right? If you got 20-inch arms, you're probably getting stopped.
Yeah, they do stop the bodybuilders.
When I go to Australia, I don't even look like a bodybuilder anymore, but they know who I am.
You don't have 20-inch arms,
no,
but
they know who I am. They believe me. Every time I go through there, they stop me and say,
maybe he's on TRT.
They're like,
I listened to the radio show. He's on 200 milligrams of test every 4 weeks. Yeah. And if he's got that bottle in his bag,
they're like, can you step to the side? I said, yeah, I know the drill already. I said, you don't have to tell me. Every time I come in here, you guys stop me and pull me over. So they bring you into the office. You got to talk to them. They ask you 4 million questions, which are ridiculous. Then they say, okay, follow that yellow line. The yellow line is like the yellow brick road, except it leads to the secondary checkpoint where then they're going to open your luggage and they're going to search every little morsel of your luggage, every zipper compartment, opening socks and underwear and taking out every little tube of this and that you got in there, and which takes 2 hours. and then they let you go, and then you got to follow the yellow line out the front door. It takes forever. Of course, one of the yellow lines that I was with Aaron and PJ one year, and they both brought their testosterone replacement with them with the prescription. They're like, this prescription is not good for Australia. I said, what did you two take this stuff with you for? You couldn't go a week without taking a shot?
Wait. Say that again about the prescription.
Aaron and PJ had a prescription.
I get that part, but what did the officials say?
They're like, you can't bring this into the country. They're like, we have a prescription for it. They're like, this prescription is not Australian. We don't. How do we know? Oh, no. I'm messing up. No, Chris, let me take that back. In Australia, they don't have written prescriptions. The prescription is actually on the bottle. That's what it is.
No.
So I think that was the problem. So they said, well, you need I don't know, you need something. We had to have something with them that they didn't have, and they're like, well, we could either confiscate this, or we can take this to the next step.
Well, what if it was a diabetic coming through? Would they confiscate the insulin?
I don't know if insulin is a prescription drug there, to be honest with you. So
what if it was someone who was on,
Stallone lost his GH, remember?
Oh,
he had a
that's
prescription,
right.
and they took they're like, you have a prescription?
Yeah, I think he had like 50,000 bottles or something, right?
Yeah, and it was Russian GH or something like that. It wasn't even
It was all fake?
Yeah, probably. Who knows? But it wasn't even like U.S. GH that he supposedly had a prescription for. You remember that? He had to pay a big fine.
I got to Google it. Sly Stallone GH. Look, Sylvester Stallone discusses
he really
HGH.
He really needed to bring his GH to Australia. Doesn't he know Australia? You can't bring anything.
He's like an Aaron. Why does Aaron really need to bring his test to Australia? Rocky Balboa and John Rambo never pulled any punches, and neither does the man who created two of America's most enduring action heroes. Even when the talk turns to human growth hormone, he was convicted of having in Australia last year. Sly Stallone doesn't blink. Then he goes on and on and on. Oh, look, he's talking about Matt Lauer. He's talking with Matt Lauer about it.
Was it? That's great. Unbelievable. All right. Well, you know what? I know you got to get up in like 20 minutes and go to the airport.
No, I'm just not going to bed. That's all.
No, you're not. I have to go to sleep though. I'm fighting. My kids both got sick this past week, so I'm staving off the flu so that I can make it down to the Arnold.
Listen, just tell me how long the Guru Summit class is each day.
It's one day for 10 hours. So.
Okay. I used to do way back bodybuilding camps, and I would do my little lectures on nutrition and training and stuff, right? How tired mentally are you after that course?
I'm still mentally tired, and if you hear it, people think I might have I might be sick. I lose my voice. I get laryngitis from talking that long. But you know what, Chris? I pulled an Aceto. I actually drank coffee the whole day. I was like, fuck it. People thought I was on like crystal meth, because I was so wired. Because I don't do any stimulants, I've reminded myself how good caffeine works if you don't take it all the time,
Oh, yeah. It's incredible if you don't use it. So maybe I'm trying to wean myself away using Earl Grey tea.
Yeah, it's like, when you go off testosterone for like when you go off steroids for like 6 weeks, then you come back on, it works a lot better. That's it.
Well, if you just use fake stuff for like 2 years, and then someone finally sends you some of that Stallone Russian GH,
I
and
told
then
a
you
client
go
of
like
mine,
crazy.
The worst thing you can ever do is have to tell a client of yours you look like you're natural. I said, I hate to say this to you. I said, you look like you're natural. He's like, you think the stuff I'm taking is no good? I said, I think so. And you know what? The guy went on some different stuff, and it was like in 3 weeks, he was like 10 pounds heavier already, gained 10, 15 pounds. So I can't remind people enough. Go to my website, DavePalumbo.com. I sell the Bill Llewellyn Roy test kits. You could test your stuff. You'll know if it's real or not. And now we have the GH test kits, so you can test your growth hormone.
People don't want to know if it's they just want to.
You know what? People spend seriously. Steroids are not quite as expensive as GH. The minimum you're going to spend on GH is $2,500. So you're spending $2,500 to $5,000 on buying one allotment of GH. spend the $100 and test the stuff. You know what I mean? Before you buy a ton of it, because it's a nightmare if it's fake and you wasted all that time. You know, it's for bodybuilders. They don't even care about the money. They just care about the fact that they wasted 16 weeks taking something that wasn't real. I mean, so buy the freaking test kits. It's peace of mind. Got to be crazy. If this was back in the day and I was competing, I'd probably have I'd buy like cases. I'd buy it by the case. Every time I got something new, I'd be testing it because I was paranoid. I was paranoid back then, and I knew the stuff was coming from a pharmacy. I didn't trust anyone. So,
yeah, you'd want to go get it firsthand.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chris, have a safe flight. I'll see you out in Columbus, Ohio. And guys, stay tuned all weekend long to our Redcon 1 sponsored Arnold 2019 coverage. I'm Dave Palumbo. And remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Good night, everyone. You know, I always end the show here, but I'm not going to end it. You know, I do so many shows on a daily basis. I don't even know what show I'm beginning and ending anymore. I mix up the endings. I mix up the beginnings. That's called the first signs of senility.
Yeah. Work on your memory.
Work on your memory. That's the quote of the week. Good night, everyone.